Misuse of essential oils can lead to everything from irritation to rashes to severe chemical burns. Using essential oils properly is, well, essential. Essential oils are some of the riskiest ingredients in DIY skincare, and most people don't even realize it because of all the misinformation out there. There's this idea that they're safe and simple to use because they're all natural, but unfortunately, that's not the whole story. So in this video, I'm going to share 5 dangerous essential oil mistakes that most new makers, and many more experienced ones too, make, and how to avoid them so you don't hurt yourself, your friends, or your customers. As you're watching, you might be thinking, hey, I've been doing that for ages and nothing has gone wrong, so how bad can it be? But some of these mistakes won't backfire the first or even the 40th time. But when they do backfire, it can be really bad. Don't believe me? Check out the Adverse Reaction Reports database on the Tisserand Institute website. Brace yourself, there's some scary stuff in there. In my case, not understanding myth number 4 early enough has had lifelong consequences, and I really want to save you that pain. But first, before we dive into the mistakes, it's essential, see what I did there, that you understand what essential oils are and what they aren't. Essential oils are highly concentrated, fragrant, naturally occurring ingredients made from plant material like seeds, petals, peels, and barks. We use essential oils to scent our DIYs and potentially add some lovely aromatherapy and skincare benefits as well. They are really interesting, complex ingredients that are comprised of lots of different fragrant chemicals like linalool, limonene, menthol, benzyl alcohol, and geraniol. Now, it's easy to think that essential oils are, well, oils. It is right there in the name, after all. And while it's true that they are oil soluble, essential oils are not actually oils. True oils like almond oil and coconut oil, often called carrier oils, are made of fatty acids like stearic acid and oleic acid, while essential oils are made of potent, non-fatty aromatic chemicals. Okay, so mistake number 1. This one is super duper common. I definitely did this when I first got started, and I still see it all over the internet and in books. At best, this will create inconsistently scented products, and at worst, it can cause serious skin issues. So imagine your friend gives you their famous cookie recipe, but all the measurements are in handfuls. You make it as written, but it totally flops. Ugh! Now, of course, you'd never bake by the handful, but you're doing something similar if you measure your essential oils by the drop. Just like the size of your handful will be different than your friend's handful due to different sizes of hands and different grip styles, a drop can vary a lot depending on factors like the specific essential oil, the bottle it's being dropped out of, and ambient temperature. Essential oils are really potent, so measuring them accurately is essential to ensuring you're using them safely. And for true accuracy, you need to use a precise scale to weigh out your essential oils, not count drops. This is always important, but becomes even more important as you scale your formulations up to sell or gift. I recommend purchasing a digital scale that can measure to 2 decimal points of a gram, and I've shared some recommendations that start around $20 in the free Humblebee and Me DIY Encyclopedia entry on precision scales. Now, switching from counting drops to weighing out your essential oils is great, but it's just the first step. The second mistake can be an easy recipe for serious skin irritation, even if you've weighed out all your essential oils. If you've been DIYing for longer than about a day, you've definitely come across a formulation that called for an ingredient you didn't have and wondered, what can I use instead? If that ingredient is, say, sweet almond oil, swapping it for apricot kernel oil won't make much of a difference in the final product. But if that ingredient is an essential oil, what seems like a simple swap can completely ruin your final product. Imagine you were cooking up a batch of chili, and the recipe called for 1 tablespoon of sweet paprika. But you didn't have sweet paprika, so you decided to use a tablespoon of cayenne pepper instead. They're both spices, so a 1-for-1 swap should be fine, right? As I'm sure you've already worked out, that swap would make for a batch of chili that's hotter than magma and nothing like what the original recipe intended. And that's because even though they are both spices, the composition of paprika and cayenne pepper are really different. The same is true for essential oils. They are complex, highly varied blends of natural chemicals. Different chemical constituents have different safe usage levels, so the safe usage level of every essential oil varies with its precise chemical composition. This is why I get so frustrated when I see DIYs that call for 20 drops of essential oil. That could be a safe level if you used lavender essential oil, which is pretty easygoing as far as essential oils go, but it could also be a total disaster if you use, say, cinnamon bark essential oil. This next mistake is sort of an extension on the previous one. Just like we can't treat all essential oils the same, we also can't treat all products the same when it comes to adding essential oils. This is essential if you are planning on selling your products, especially in the EU. Did you know different product types have their own safe usage levels, and that those safe usage levels are dictated by the International Fragrance Association, also known as IFRA? An eye cream, for example, has a far lower maximum safe level of essential oil than a foot cream. I learned about IFRA guidelines and a whole lot more about safe essential oil usage as part of my Formula Botanica Diploma in Organic Skincare Formulation coursework. I have 2 diplomas from Formula Botanica, and even though I started studying with them after I'd been making for several years, I learned a lot. Readers have told me the difference between my pre- and post-diploma formulations is really obvious, and I have to agree. If you'd like to try out Formula Botanica for free and see if studying with them could be the next step in your formulation journey, they'll be running a formulation masterclass starting soon. I've included the sign-up link in the description box below. It's totally free, so why not give it a go? Our next mistake is one that's really close to my heart, as I'm still suffering from the effects of it myself, and I will be for the rest of my life. You might have read that high-quality essential oils don't or can't expire. This is flat out wrong. Essential oils are natural products, and like many natural products, fresh produce, milk, and carrier oils, they change over time. While some essential oils improve with age, and patchouli is a great example, many more degrade. The scents change as they break down and they oxidize, creating morphed chemical compounds that can be bad for the skin, increasing the likelihood of negative reactions and sensitization. Using old lemon essential oil is the reason I can never use citrus essential oils topically again, even though I love them. I developed a sensitivity to citrus essential oils years ago, and now everything from grapefruit to lime to orange essential oil, not just lemon, makes me really, really itchy. My biggest tip for preventing the use of old, expired essential oils is not to overbuy. It is really, really tempting, believe me, I get it, to buy bigger bottles of essential oils because the cost per milliliter is always lower. I definitely did this when I first got started. The bottle of lemon essential oil that caused me to become sensitized to citrus was a whopping 500 milliliter bottle. Well, oxidization isn't a very fast process. Tisserand says most essential oils keep well for at least 1 to 2 years before oxidization starts to take effect. Buying bottles that you can't easily finish in a year or so is asking for oxidized essential oils, wasted money, and potentially lifelong skin sensitization. And lastly, this is the granddaddy of all the essential oil mistakes. If you're doing this, it doesn't matter if you are weighing everything out, and understand that you can't put foot cream levels of essential oil in your eye creams. So be sure to watch this video next to learn the most important thing about using essential oils safely, so you can be sure your DIYs won't hurt anyone.